So this is kind of a partial review and a partial a promotion. So I'll just read the email because it's more of a deep request than just hey I got a book. Greetings, Aaron. I've been listening to your channel for the past few months. It's been immensely entertaining, cathartic, and sometimes just a good distraction from the craziness of our world. To get to the point for fun, quotation marks, I finished writing a book in 2020. The word fun is in quote because it was more of a hellish process, but I digress. No, don't digress. You damn right. Writing books suck. Oh my God. People are like, I tell them, because, what do you say? Well, what do you do for a living? How much time you got? Um, for the sake of brevity, I just say I'm an author. They're like, oh, that must be great. I'm like, no, it sucks. And they're always like, really? I'm like, you like, don't you remember writing book reports in the fourth grade? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, now just imagine writing a 300-page book report. It's not fun. Nobody likes writing. I mean, some weirdo, Chad, I guess, likes doing taxes. I'm sure some weirdos like writing, but yeah, if you're a normal guy, oh yeah, sit there and choose words. Oh, not that word. Delete, delete, delete. Oh, this word. Oh, but does it go with the other word? Let's read this thing 18,000 times over. Make sure it flows and is polished. No, Ryan's a pain in the ass. Anyway, back to the guy here. It took 3 years, and I half wrote it for myself due to being an avid reader for decades, and nobody ever wanted to discuss anything. The nature of the book is sort of like the Way of Monkey book. It didn't turn out half bad, so it may be useful to your viewers. I hadn't really done much except for a bit of Amazon ad. Thought this could be something different to try. Here's the link, and the title is The Game of Life, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. I have it linked down below. The book cover you can see that's on the thumbnail. There may be two ways to do this. I can send you a physical copy, blah, 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 chapter, do. I can send this. Also, it may be fun to share. Also, the tragic ending. Complete the book. No rush to do. I guess it's just logistics. I don't mind telling about your past, although I'm going to anonymize you just a little bit. So in case you want to remain anonymous, you were born overseas. You're Asian. Family moved to cold leftist shithole when you were 12. Super protective Asian parents making that my dark age. Skipped a year in high school because public schools are for freaking morons. He didn't say that, by the way. I'm just telling you how it is. Finished a computer science degree, math requirement in those 3 years, double major computer science and Japanese in undergrad. Unwillingly got into a very high-end program or school for a master's. And now you live in warm leftist shithole. Worked in a field got some money as a cushion, so I just enjoyed doing photography as a gig to pass some time. Hence, I had also time to write the book. Yeah, it's great. I know it. I hate writing, but nothing good comes from enjoyment. Like nothing's like, oh, I really enjoyed that. Well, I guess kids come from the enjoyment of having sex. But otherwise, yeah, and be happy you wrote the book. Like, I actually think everyone should write a book just so you're writing. Please don't write about yourself. Look, if you're going to write a book, please don't write about yourself. He didn't, by the way. He wrote, the topic is very interesting. But I'm glad you wrote the book. And congratulations. That's good that you put your effort into it. And you could say you're an author. All right. So what we ended up on agreeing is like, look, I don't have time to read the book. I just don't. It's tax season. I got shit to do. And if I had to read it, we're now talking around, obviously, depending on the length, we're talking at least $1,000. And you honestly can get more advertising probably out of Google or Twitter or finding someone specific to this niche and field than me for $1,000. And so let's take a look here. Oh, hey, it's not bad ranking right now. 716,000th place. I know that sounds like that's not bad. You are selling some. So some people might like him. Yeah, 273 pages. Yeah, that would have been $1,500. And it would have had to been an audio. And you have it in audio. Okay, this is, dude, you did good. This is good to see. So let me read the the description here. The title is Game of Life: The Transcendence of Opposites. We assume we know when so much is we assume we know when so much is unknown. We assume our actions are conscious when so much is contributed by the vast unconscious. We assume we are good when so much that we do is questionable. The problems in the modern world are multiplying at a rapid rate. But what if all of the problems together is not the problem? Social milieu, milieu, conventional knowledge in daily life lock our attention on number and abstract thinking. We are increasingly unconscious of some important aspects of ourselves and reality. What if what we are overlooking is exactly what we need to live a proper life? In the game of life, Kin Lao examines disparate. See, you use the 50-cent words, man. Examines disparate ideas from philosophy, psychology, and religions from both East and West that can engage the individual on a common path. And this is why I was interested. This is an interesting idea. The content dives in to discover the underlying unifying messages across Buddhism, Christianity, Taoism, Hinduism, etc., and brilliant minds such as Heraclitus, Lao Tzu, Friedrich Nietzsche, Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, etc. The game of life is to be played in two modes. One mode is playing as a human, which is the mode we are exerting all of our time in, which is the mode we are exerting all of our time and effort in. For a more complete and integrated way of living, human beings need to rediscover the other mode. The other mode is about our being, which involves understanding the nature of reality. It is time we become integrated individuals again by adding the being back into the game of life. And you guys all wonder why I don't read my own books. That's why. So I said, well, look, I'm not going to review because it's just too much time and money. And then, he says, well, could you read like a chapter and let me know? I said, sure. So I read the chapter, and interestingly enough, it was about psychology. And his main thesis in this chapter was how psychology is not a real science. He questions the efficacy. He doesn't say it's totally ineffectual, but he questions its efficacy and its feasibility, and more so about how it's been a distraction uh, for people who are trying to get right in their minds, whether that's mental health, mental happiness, contentment, peace, mental health in general. Because why else would you consult psychology? But the point he made, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but let me know if I'm somewhere in the ballpark, was that because it's treated as a science, like, oh, psychologists, like this better help. Oh, yeah, you just need therapy. Like that's just the solution to everything. Ha ha ha. Those crazy Buddhists over in South Asia doing their crazy Buddhist things. Oh, Christians, OMG. Am I right? Oh my God, we're sorry, Muslims. We're never going to know the Muslims there. Oh, don't hurt us. What else? I don't know much about Taoism and all that. Uh, but the idea of whether it's religion, which the left largely rejects, or philosophy, which sometimes get wooey wooey wowie woo, uh, to the secularists out there, those who don't believe in religion, or let's just admit how many people study Buddhism really. Oh, psychology. Oh, yeah. The baby boomers made that real popular. Oh, yeah. They must know. They got a book called the DSM-5. They know exactly. Oh, yeah. Men are toxic. Let's kill them all. Wait, what? Uh, the larger point is that much like my own profession, economics is not a profession. It's gotten way more popular than what its performance warrants. And so the point of that one chapter was that psychology is more of a distraction, and oftentimes not a solution for you to go on whatever your psychological, spiritual, philosophical, emotional, mental health goals might be. And it's like, well, maybe you ought to consider other things like what people used to consider in times past before some dumbass says, oh, I'm going to think about the human mind. Here's some theories about your mother. And maybe the answers might be in these philosophies. Oh, but I'm not. Jewish. I'm not Muslim. I'm not a Taoist. I'm not a Buddhist. Right. But that's what I liked about the book, or the intention of the book, is you went away with, okay, we're not worshiping a six-headed elephant. That's not going to happen. But in analyzing all these different philosophies and philosophers, here's some ideas that come about that are consistent. Kind of like how religions kind of have the same 10 commandments. Wonder why. And maybe that might provide a better path for you to achieving whatever your mental, psychological, life happiness, life peace, contentment goals. So maybe a more practical handbook rather than a pure philosophy where say, okay, now you light the incense and we worship the flying cloud farting god. It's no, here is practical things. We removed all the mysticism. Here's practical secular stuff that seems to work, the commonalities among them. And that's what that book is. And so I have no problems endorsing the book because of its intention. It was well written, the chapter that I read. And so, yeah, I did want to promote it, not just because you paid me and I'm a whore, but I like the thesis and the premise. And what I read is like, yeah, okay, it's not shit. I'll tell you that. It ain't shit. So there you go. So if you're having, if you read The Way of Monkey book, and I think it would also fall in line with the menu, go get this one if you're more, because TFM, he's big into that philosophy. This seems like a scientific approach to philosophy. And God Almighty, don't go to philosophy departments in universe. Don't study philosophy. Just read it. Oh my God. I used to think, oh, philosophy majors, they must be really intelligent. Like, you're dumber than shit. Shut up. The idea that you need to be told what to think, so you read philosophy. Like, isn't that kind of antithetical to philosophy when you form your own opinions? I'm going to be the world's greatest chef by mimicking and plagiarizing everyone else's recipes. All right. We got one super chat. Dinocide, 13, $2. Don't forget stoicism. Yes. Well, that's the most important philosophy of them all, especially nowadays. You are right, Dinocide. That is correct. All right. So I like to it down below. Game of Life, the transcendence of opposites. It's got 13 ratings, 5 stars, all 5 stars. That's good. That's good. Explorations of the intersection of philosophy, psychology, religion, spirituality, and consciousness. Insightful, logical, philosophical, and intriguing deep divide. A book filled with insights for an integrated self. All right. Sounds like you hit your audience, man. All right. There you go. I will see you guys later, Toodles.